Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my makeup monthly stash for February. You can see everything I had for my January month in this janky little cardboard box here. So I'm going to go over the products that I'm taking out, the ones that I've used up. So my project pan is going well so far, and the new products that I'm going to be adding in, switching out, changing up, things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with products that I'm taking out of my kit. So I'm going to start with this NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. I just do not like this product because of the shimmer in it. It does the color correcting portion fine. The formula, to me, I find very dry. As soon as you put it on the skin, I have a hard time blending it out. I only use little tiny dots though, so it's not the hugest deal, but the shimmer just comes through. It doesn't matter what foundation I put over it. I can see the glitter particles from this formula coming through, and it just looks very bizarre and patchy. So if any of you have used this, like it, and have any tips and tricks, please let me know, and I'll give it another try. But if not, this has got to go. I just don't like it. I used up my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is a little mini size in shade 6.5 deep. I've been like scraping the sides to get it out, so I actually went through this faster than I thought. And one of the things I did do this month was actually mix it in with my foundation. I'd put it under foundation, used it as a highlighter on top, but I'd never mixed it in, and I did that a lot this month. Probably why I used it up so fast. But I really liked the way it looked. I won't say it gave me like this like amazing glow, but it did give me this nice like radiance in my foundations, which were already, you know, kind of radiant foundations anyway, but it helped when I powdered down. The other product I finished up is my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is the shade Amande. This is another one that I've been scraping to get the last bit out. This is just a little mini size, but I'm glad I finally used it up. So I'm going to be looking for another concealer. I'm thinking of trying the Studio Fix Correct and Conceal palette for MAC, but I want to get into the store and, you know, swatch it first and see which one would be right for me. So I think that's all for products I used up or I'm just taking out because I don't want to wear them. So that's 3. So I think that's pretty good. Let me show the products I'm going to be taking out. I have my Hourglass Jellyfish palette here. And I use this quite a bit. I mean, I use all of my Hourglass palettes, but I wasn't reaching for it as much, and I think it's because of maybe the eyeshadow palette shades that I had selected didn't quite go, but I did get use out of this like I normally would. What else am I going to be taking out? I am going to be taking out my Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer, and you can see here I'm about halfway through it, so I've been giving it some good use since I purchased it, which was last year. And I'm going to replace it with another primer because I want to experiment with my foundation with, you know, other primers and see which one I like the best. I'm going to be taking out the Natasha Denona Mini My Dream palette. I got so much use out of it. I only put 3 palettes in my box, which might have been a mistake because I didn't give myself a lot of options. So every once in a while I had to dip out for something else. But because I only had 3, I really got creative with the looks and uses of the palettes I did have in here. I got probably like 4 or 5 different looks from this palette. And I loved them all. This is a really great little palette. I'm so glad I purchased it. Great for travel, and it's a good price, especially when you get it on a sale. I really enjoyed using it this month, and I don't think I would have used it as many times this year as I would have in just this month if I hadn't put it in my monthly makeup kit. The next palette I'm taking out is the Sigma Creme Brulee palette. Also got a lot of use out of this. I reached into this shade Nutty quite a bit when I needed a lighter transition shade because the other palette I had just didn't have one in there. I did some all matte looks. I did some really soft everyday looks. I did a glam look with this caramelized shimmer shade, which is really, really pretty. I'm so glad I put this in the box. I got some great use out of it. And I think now, because I've gotten to know it better, I'm inclined to reach for it more often. And then the other palette I'm taking out, well, the last palette I'm taking out is my Pat McGrath palette. And this is, I'm going to blind anybody. There we go. This palette. This was the Mothership 10. I got so many looks out of this palette. I'm so glad I put it in my kit. I had used it maybe once or twice since I purchased it, and I think I did like 5 different looks, 5 or 6 different types of looks with this palette, and each one of them was great. The only color I don't think I used much was this shade here. I have used it before and it's really pretty, but I used all the other shades. These 2 shades right here specifically were shades I just was not thrilled about being in this palette when I purchased it, and they created one of my favorite shades. So I just had to sit down with it, play with it, and I'm so glad I did. It's a really lovely palette. It's a little redundant if you have a lot of eyeshadow palettes because there's not too many new shades in here. But as a one and done palette, you can get a lot of variety out of it. Okay, I'm going to be taking this MAC Desert Rose blush out. I used it several times because I did have a lot of cooler toned eyeshadow, so this came in really handy. So that was nice. And I'm also going to take out, do I want to take out this blush? I'm not sure now because I'm thinking of the eyeshadows that I'm putting in here. Yeah, I'm going to take this one out. This is the MAC Glow Play Blush in Pinch of Marrakesh. I really like this one, but it was too warm for a lot of the looks I did. So on the days when I wasn't wearing an eyeshadow look and was just, you know, relying on complexion to like really done up bronzer and highlighter, then this was the good blush to wear for that. And let's see here. Is there anything else I'm taking out? I don't think so. Okay, I think everything else is staying. So let me show you what's staying. Are the NARS foundations. So this is in my project pan, this shade in Macau, and I made another dent in there. It's probably a little more than half gone now. And I also have the shade Moria because I mixed them together. So I've been loving it. It's such a gorgeous foundation. I really love it. And I'm also keeping in the Charlotte Tilbury powder bronzer. Here you go. Got a lot of use out of this, and I'm glad it was in my kit. I'm going to keep that in there, as well as my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer in the shade 3 Tan as well. These are both in my project pan, and definitely keeping this in my kit until summertime. In summertime, if I'm outside and getting a lot of color, this becomes a little, it doesn't become as punchy. Like, I can't see it as well on my face, so I'll switch to a darker bronzer. But for now, it's staying in. I wear it almost I think I've worn it every single time I've done my makeup. It's my favorite bronzer in my collection. Keeping the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush face powder. This is in the shade 4 Deep. Also in my project pan. And the Pat McGrath under eye powder. This is also in the shade Deep. And you can see, I don't know if you can see the progress, but I've used even more of it. And I'm really starting to enjoy it a lot more than I did. I can see why people like it so much, but I'm not a huge under eye concealer person, so I just use it to kind of set my foundation for the most part under my eye. I've got the Bobbi Brown highlighter in Bronze Glow. I've gotten so much use out of it this past month. way more than I would have if I hadn't put it in the kit. And I'm keeping the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, volume 3. I love this product. I wear it all the time. And it's just something I reach for, so I like having it right there in my monthly kit for easy reach purposes. I'm going to be keeping the House Labs blush in Fire Moon in there. I've used it a few times, and it's a really beautiful neutral blush, which is my preference most of the time. I'm not a huge blush person. Sometimes I used to get real fancy with the blush colors, but I feel like they don't make the kind of color and the color kind of formula properly anymore. So like MAC had my favorite one, which was Love Crush, and that was like I think limited edition or discontinued or something. So I just go for neutrals now. I have the same 3 mascaras I had last time. I've been mostly using the Pat McGrath and this Bad Girl Bang Benefit one because I can tell those ones are closer to being used up. Are you going to sit up? Yeah, there we go. And then I'll move on to the MAC stack. I have my 2 lipsticks here. I have O and Try Again from MAC, which I've used so much. I'm going to keep them both in here for now. Definitely Try Again. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll keep in another month. And then my 3 MAC lip glasses. I have the shade Spite, Bittersweet Me, and Steel Kiss. Bittersweet Me, I actually think maybe I only wore once, but Spite and Steel Kiss I wore quite a bit last month. I have the MAC Squirt Plump Lip Gloss Stick, which I did wear, and I'm going to keep that in. My NYX Cinnamon Roll Butter Gloss, which is staying. My Pat McGrath Lip Gloss in Faux Real. Love this one. Wore that quite a bit as well. And I'm not sure if I put this in the video last month or not, but I think I did. This is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This has been refilled with just the regular one. This is no longer the lavender one. And I actually did top it off to finish up the bottle that I refilled it from. So I've been wearing this every time I do my makeup, and I love it. I was very skeptical about people talking about how it melts your skin. I mean, melts your makeup onto your skin, and it really does. After I put on my foundations, my cream bronzers, after I do all that stuff and then a little bit of powder, I, spritz that all over my face, let it sink in, go do a couple other things, and then any finishing touches I might have on my eye look, and then I go in with my actual setting spray, which I'm adding to my box this month. And I've just really seen a difference in how smooth and airbrushed and how well my makeup sits on my face. So that product, I'm glad I came back to it after years of not really reaching for it that much. I'm glad I've tried using it a new way because I like this way better than how I was using it before. And I can't imagine replacing it or getting rid of it now. I also have the MAC Prep and Prime Lip, which I've been using and loving. I'm glad I went back to it and didn't just toss it out because it makes a huge difference when I'm wearing specifically lipsticks. Okay, so now let's go over products that I'm adding for this month. Okay, so I think one of the main issues I had with the box that I set up for last month was I only put in 3 eyeshadow palettes, and I didn't give myself much variety in things like undertone, shade range, what type of looks I normally go for. So I'm putting in a few more this month. I took those other ones out. So let me go ahead and start with this little Pat McGrath quad. This is the Venus and Flora's Voyeuristic Vixen palette. You can see that sparkly shade fell out. It arrived that way. I already have a replacement. But these are my favorite shades anyway, so I just dumped out that shade. And I always forget to reach for this, and I thought this would be a good month to give it some wears. So I'm going to be adding that palette in. I have my Natasha Denona Gold palette in here. Since this is in my project pan, it made sense to put it in my Makeup Monthly. And you can see I've got dips in quite a bit of those shades. But this is an old palette. You know, it's not getting any fresher or better performing. So I'd like to hit pan on a couple of these shades and use it up as much as possible before it, you know, goes to the inevitable graveyard. So put that over there. Need more spice. Okay, the next one I'm going to put in here is I picked up another Viseart Neutral Mattes palette. They have their 25th edition one, but they have this new Visi Pro packaging that I actually really prefer. And I picked up another one because even though the one that I have still has product in it, the case broke, right? You know, that constant opening, closing of the plastic, and it just, not that it wasn't sturdy or good quality, but it broke off, and I don't tend to use product once something has broken in there, especially if it means little shards of anything could have gotten into the product. So I just picked up another one during their last sale. I reach for this type of palette a lot because it has so many different shades. Usually if I just, oh, I need a brown, there's a great one. Oh, I need a lighter lid shade. So this is one I think I'm going to keep in my kit for a while because I just reach for it for all, like for a full look, and then just for one and done shades when I need something to fill a gap. I have these two little MAC singles. These are the Extra Dimension shadows. I have the shade Havana, which is this really pretty like bronzy brown shade, which I've used a bit, but I was never that impressed with the performance. Like the swatches were nice, but on the eye, I wasn't loving it. And then this other one in Sweet Heat, same. It's gorgeous in the pan, swatches beautifully, but on my eye, it wasn't really doing much for me. But I've seen a couple people use it differently and some recommendations, so I want to give them another try because I was going to declutter these, but they are really pretty. So I'm going to try those out again this month and see if I like them better. I have this Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. This is in my project pan, so I'm going to put it in this month. And I do like it because it does have more neutral, warm colors in there. So it'll help, like, you know, fill those gaps because there was just a lot of cool looks going last month, which I don't mind. I love cool looks, but there were sometimes when I needed a warmer shade and I didn't think it through and put one in there. A palette that I've been wanting to reach for a lot lately is the Melt Cosmetics Rust palette. I love this palette. This is their best one, quality-wise and color story-wise, in my opinion. So here it is. And this is pretty well loved. I've had it for a while and I've worn it quite a bit, but I'd like to wear it more. I love the grungy tones, and especially like this mustard shade up here. And I actually just wore this shade Erode for the first time. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't like it. It's stunning. So I'm looking forward to wearing this because it's been a while since I've consistently reached for it. Oh no. And the final palette I'm putting in here is another Pat McGrath palette. This one is my favorite. This is the Bronze Seduction Mothership 5. I love the shades in here. We get 3 mattes. There's a good range from light to medium deep to really dark. Gorgeous shimmers. This is, and you can see the dips in the pans. I wear this a lot, but I haven't recently. Like, I don't think I've worn this in months, but usually it's a palette that I reach for a lot. So I want to put it in my kit because it is one of my favorites and I do want to keep using it. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have for eyeshadow, let's move on to complexion. I'm going to be adding in my Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This is in the shade Butter Pecan. And just because, you know, I want to play around with all of my makeup. I don't know, I'm smelling it. Maybe it's new. It shouldn't smell funky or anything like that. But I got this, I think in the fall, and I've worn it a few times. This is a new color for me. I was wearing Chai, which was pulling too orange, red, and deep on my skin, although I swore that was my right shade. I went through a whole bottle. But I really like the finish of that foundation. Finally tried a couple other shades, realized Butter Pecan is my true match. So I'm going to add that into my kit. And another product I'm adding in, this is not replacing the concealer I took out, because that concealer I use under my eye occasionally. This is what I use to clean up like under my brow when I'm doing makeup. I very rarely use this under my eye because it's so full coverage. Like I just have to use the tiniest dot, and even that feels like too much sometimes. I'm just not an under eye concealer person. This is in the shade Butterscotch, but I use this every time I do my makeup, so I don't know why I didn't think to put it in my kit last month, but I'm going to add it in for this month. Because it's convenient to keep it right there in the box with everything that I'm using every day. And since I took out that Hourglass primer, I'm going to put in this new Milk. It's not a new product. It's just new to my stock of makeup. Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I got this during the Sephora sale in the fall. This is my second bottle. I went through like a couple little samples years ago when it first dropped. I actually bought a bottle of it, went through the whole thing. I really liked it. And then just tried other things, went on to other things and never came back to it. I got another deluxe sample in a Sephora order months ago, went through. I was like, oh yeah, I do like this primer. So when it went on sale, I thought I would give it another try. So let's go ahead and add that to this month. Play around with it with my foundation, see how I like it, see how it compares to the Hourglass, see if I can find my perfect primer. I don't need multiples for the most part, like maybe two, because they do two different things. And then I'm going to actually add in my other Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, and this is the shade 3 Tan. Because this is another one I reach for almost every single day. I used to use it as my under eye powder, but I'm using the Pat McGrath one now to use it up and get it out of the collection. But I still use this, especially in the wintertime when I'm a little bit lighter, in the center of my face, and to powder my face. And then I use the darker one kind of on the perimeter and over the bronzer. But I reach for it all the time, so it just makes sense. Oops, it's all right. To keep it in the box. And then I'm adding in this Westman Atelier. What are these? These are the liquid super loaded like drops, and this is the shade Peau de Soleil. So this is, you can see the shade right there. So these are like illuminating drops. I've only ever tried them a few times. It was sent to me for a review. I reviewed it, and then again, I wasn't wearing makeup much. So, I mean, it seemed nice. It was a nice product. I didn't have any issues with it. It's not too glittery. But now that I've kind of experimented with this product and, I'm more familiar with how products like that work and how I like them, I thought, well, this is a nice, expensive product. Let me give it some use, especially before it expires, see how I like it. So I'll try, under foundation, mix it with foundation, on top of foundation, see how I like it. But it's too expensive of a product to just let it sit there and not get used. And I'm also curious about trying new formulas, finding my favorite thing. So I'm hoping it hasn't expired. I don't remember when it was sent to me. I think last year. Pretty sure it was last year, so I think it's safe. It doesn't smell funny or anything like that. And then another thing that I should have added to my box last month but completely forgot about is my setting spray. This is my last step of my makeup, and I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And this is so far one of my favorites that I've tried. After I tried this one, I haven't gone back to any other setting spray. I don't use the MAC Fix Plus as a setting spray. That's an in-between step on my makeup. This is the last step. I love it. I have the big bottle. And I actually have a backup of it. So when I can get it on sale, I do. I think it's a good value for how much I use, how much I'm going to go through it when I'm wearing a lot of makeup. So that's going to go into the box. And the last few things I have here are makeup products. This is another product I should have put in my video last month, but forgot. This was my NYX. It's an eye pencil in dark brown, but I use it as my lip liner. Oops, because they discontinued the actual lip liner pencil. But this is my favorite shade of lip liner. It's the perfect dark brown neutral that doesn't pull red, doesn't pull purple or anything like that on me. It goes with every lip product that I like to wear. I've gone through several, and I have several backups. When they go on sale at Ulta, I bulk buy. I'm also going to add in this Juvia's Place lip liner, and this is in the shade Cocoa Latte. I wore this once recently because I was testing products to see if they were going to stay or go for my lip declutter video, and I actually really like this. I'm not sure why I don't reach for it, but I'm going to put it in the box so it gets some use. I'm going to add in 2 new lipsticks. I'm feeling very ambitious. So the first one I'm going to add, I just hauled it, and this is a MAC lipstick, and this is in the shade Thinks It's MAC. This is a luster glass formula, and I really like this shade. I was skeptical about it being universally flattering because that's a very rare occurrence, and it's a very bold claim that a lot of companies make, and it's usually not true, but I do like that shade. It's really stunning with the lip liner, that, and a little bit of lip gloss on top. I think it does give a lot of people that your lips but better look, because that is kind of what it gives me, because it has more of that kind of dusky pink and brown tone in it. And the other lipstick I'm going to put in here is also new, and I just hauled this. This is from the new MAC Nudes collection, and this is Hodgepodge. So I haven't worn this yet. I just watched it for the first time in that haul video, and it seems really beautiful. I'm very excited to try this out, and I'm excited to try out their new satin formula. I think I don't wear lipsticks as much as I want to because they can feel like thick and heavy and dry on my lips. The luster glasses I like because they're very moisturizing, and so I'm excited to try this because it felt very creamy when I swatched it. And then final product I'm adding in is going to be the MAC Clear Lipglass. I hauled this also. This is the first time I've had it in my collection in years and years and years and years. I went through a couple of these when I was younger, and I felt so posh because I had a MAC lip gloss in my little purse. But I've actually discovered I like putting a lip gloss on top of my lipsticks. Not all the time, but for some of the lipstick looks that I do, I like a clear gloss on top. And this is just the best. It's thick, it's moisturizing, it's long lasting, but it's not sticky. And it's just great. I don't have anything negative to say about it, except for it can get a little like leaky, like when you open it, like the product is like already ready to come up. So I usually have to store it upside down like this, but since it's just going to be chilling in my makeup box, not a huge deal. But yes, I'm excited to play with February's products, see how I do, see if I did a better job of anticipating what I'm going to want to wear, what I'm going to need for all these looks. I don't know if I'm able to fit all these products in that little Beautylish box I have. I am going to have to start looking at an actual like makeup case to put these in, because what I love is being able to just pick up the box, put it down on the counter, and everything I need is just right there in that box, and then I can put it away. It's fantastic. I don't have to go digging through things to find what I'm looking for. So I really just enjoyed my makeup experience in January. So if you've been thinking about you know, maybe doing a shop my stash with your makeup, you know, making a smaller little condensed and curated kit that you use to do your makeup from. I highly recommend it. It was so much easier to do my makeup. There was a lot less thought, you know, involved. Like I didn't have to struggle to make a decision. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? I'd already made all those decisions at the beginning of the month, and I didn't have to struggle. Like, these are the products I'm going to use. And it was great. I had so much fun. I was really inspired to do a lot of different looks. And again, just dealing with the fewer number of eyeshadow palettes, all those palettes got more use than they would have gotten on their own throughout the year if I hadn't done it. Every single one of them was used multiple times. And so if I keep doing that and cycling products through, I just feel really good about the amount of usage a lot of my underloved products will be getting. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.